Hello, everyone. I'm Kaneisha Grayson, founder and CEO of The Art of Applying. Today, I have with me yet another amazing client. It is Gershwin. Hi, Gershwin.
Hi, Kaneisha.
It's so nice to be having this interview with you. We start our group coaching calls with celebrations. Let's start your interview with a celebration. What are we celebrating today, Gershwin?
Yeah, I'm celebrating my acceptances to my MPP programs. I got accepted to Carnegie Mellon Heinz College with a full ride and some
Wow.
stipend. I
Amazing.
also got accepted to Chicago Harris with a half ride.
Fantastic.
I believe that's or 80K for over 2 years. And
Okay,
then
now,
also
I always ask, is that 40K plus 40K or 80K plus 80K?
40K plus 40K.
40K plus 40K. Wonderful. Fantastic. Keep going.
That would be amazing if it was 80K plus
Yeah, that
80K,
would be
but it's
everything.
not the case. And then also got into UMich Ford, also
Beautiful.
with a half ride. And then I also got into USC Price with a half ride and Duke Sanford with also 40K per year, so 80K total.
Fantastic. So I'm thinking we're probably already at like half a milli in scholarships. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. It's honestly been such an awesome like process. So I'm really thankful to have these options to choose from.
I'm so thrilled for you. So, Gershwin, you know what it's like to be on the other side where you are watching the video and wondering, well, can this work for me? And the number one thing people want are those stats. So
Yeah.
please share with us whatever you feel comfortable sharing about in terms of your GPA, what you studied, test scores, any cultural background, demographics, just the boom, 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 boom things that
Yeah.
people would want to compare themselves to you.
Yeah, no, I thank you. I think those are such important things. So I'll add in my quantitative test scores or like my stats, and then I'll also add in like qualitative background that I think were so important in the application process for me to discuss. So I went to UC Irvine for undergrad where I studied public health and political science. I graduated with a 3.6 GPA. And then in terms of test scores, actually, I didn't have the strongest test scores. I had a 152 for verbal and 148 for quant. So
Wow, that's
um,
low.
yeah, it was really low, but I think that's something that we can discuss with later. But I feel like that's also where participating in the art of applying kind of helped me round that out. But I also think good to share that beyond my test scores, I had a lot of extracurriculars that added that. I did the Public Policy International Affairs Fellowship in undergrad, which is fellowship for like junior students in college to kind of get an experience what public policy schools would be like. And that really helped me in the application process. I also worked as a digital strategist during the 2020 presidential election. And then the past 5 years, I've been working in tech. And my focus is in tech policy. So I feel like I was able to really build out a story from my experiences. And then also, I think something that I highlighted during my application is that how I come from a queer, low income background. I also immigrated from the Philippines. So really focusing on also where I come from and the unique perspectives that I have that would contribute to the schools.
Wow. Gershwin, I didn't realize that you immigrated from the Philippines.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I already know my entire support crew is like elbowing each other, like, oh my God, he's from the Philippines. So please, for their benefit, I love them all so much. Please tell
Yeah.
us where you are from, be as specific as possible, because they're going to want to know.
Yeah, I was actually born in Quezon City, Manila. So my family,
Okay.
when I was there within specifically like Fairview, I was really young when I moved here. So I don't remember as much, but yeah, from Quezon
Okay.
City, Manila.
Wow. Wow. So what age were you when you moved to the US and where did you move
I
to?
I was 6 years old when I moved to Los Angeles, California. So I
Okay.
lived in California all throughout. Now live in San Francisco. So I wanted my MPP program to be outside of California so I can get a different experience
Yes,
outside.
I completely understand. And then do you feel comfortable sharing your age? I'm not sure if you
Yeah,
did.
I'm 28 years old. So I graduated in 2019. So it's been 6 years since I graduated. So I
Okay.
definitely wanted to work before I went to grad school. And if there's anyone watching this that is, like thinking whether they should work first before they apply, I highly recommend it. I feel like I came in with a much stronger perspective and much stronger applicant this time around.
Okay, Fantastic. All right, Gershwin. So, what was the application process like before you started working with the art of applying? What was difficult? What wasn't working?
Before working with Art of Applying, the application process was really overwhelming because as I said, I was already working. It's been a while since I've had to do like any school applications. So it just took me forever to get in the groove of things. And it was hard for me to prioritize it on top of all the things that was happening at work. So I think I just needed something that would hold me accountable with a timeline and the deadlines. So before working with application art of applying, it was just really an overwhelming process of trying to figure out what I need to focus on first to get to the finish line.
Yes. And was this your first time applying to grad school or had you applied before?
This was my first time also.
Ah, okay.
I think it's a
Yes.
really big thing to highlight as well. Being first generation, I didn't really know what the application process was like. So I was doing a lot of like researching online, but I definitely think it was helpful to have kind of someone hold me and guide me throughout the whole process.
Absolutely. And I want to make sure you get all of your badges. So, are you a first generation American, but are you also first generation to graduate from college?
Yeah, I was first generation, first one in my family, my dad's side and my mom's side to graduate in the U.S. for undergrad, and also the first one in my family to graduate to pursue my master's.
Wow, that's amazing. I love it. And so, Gershwin, how did you find the art of applying and what inspired you to reach out?
Actually, when I was doing initially, I planned to apply for grad school last year, and so when I was in the application process, I was looking for tips and advice on how I should write my grad school applications. And so I was searching up through Google about any advice and tips, and I saw Art of Applying. I saw your website, so when I first saw it, I like was looking through it, and I was like, "There's no way I could probably afford such services." So I kind of like didn't reach out the first year, and then that first year that I was trying to do application, I got so overwhelmed with work that I didn't end up applying that quarter or that fall. And so a year later, I told myself my goal was to send my applications in at the end of 2024. And so I've kind of locked in, and that's when I came back to Art of Applying and reached out to inquire about prices and to just inquire about the process.
I love it. And I love that you kept the promise that you made to yourself.
Yeah. It's something I've been telling myself I've been wanting to do. So it's been 6 years, and I'm happy that it's finally happening.
Good. It is finally happening and in a really big way.
Yeah. I'm very grateful to be in this position.
I love it. You put yourself in that position by finding us, by taking the leap of faith that it would work, by
Yeah.
investing in yourself, by showing up and doing the work. So
Yeah.
well deserved. Okay. And so, Gershwin, you know what it's like to find our website and then to be like, you know what? I don't know if I can afford it. I don't know if the prices were up or not up. And you ran away,
Yeah.
but you did find your way to us. But you did end up booking your breakthrough call. So, first we have the quick call, which is the short call. Then we have the long call, the breakthrough call.
Mm-hmm.
What was your experience like on the breakthrough call?
The breakthrough call was really helpful because a lot of the questions that we were going through were questions that I feel like questions I didn't even think about or consider as I was applying through grad school. I thought it was just going to be honestly focused on like what numbers or stats I was working with, but it was a lot of nuances that I was coming in as an applicant. So like thinking about like how am I going to fund my graduate degree, or just the overall process. That was really helpful because I feel like it just it was drawing out a lot of stuff that I didn't already ask myself. So it was really reflective also in that moment.
So, Gershwin, were you nervous or scared to work with us? What doubts or concerns did you have?
Yeah, definitely. I come from a family that also like didn't have a lot of money. So I think I remember like when I was applying to undergrad, I heard classmates that had consultants to get to finish the application process. But for me, I was not used to that. So I didn't really come from a world where it made sense for me to spend money on a consultant. So it was scary from that perspective. I didn't know like maybe it was a scam. I mean, I didn't really know any like the whole team just yet. So wasn't much of like certainty. But I think talking to Adam on the
The
breakthrough call was
breakthrough.
really,
Mhm.
yeah, was really helpful just because I was like, okay, this is a real person that I'm talking to. And I think that kind of helped me understand or helped me realize there is like people who are working behind the camera or behind the laptop that genuinely want to help you.
Yes, and I'm not an AI avatar.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm real. Yes. And so I'm curious, how did you move from wondering, is this a scam, to trusting and making the investment and deciding to join Application Accelerator?
I think there's two things. One, again, the breakthrough was Adam asked me really like personal questions that made me feel like, oh, like he's not just here to take my money. Like he genuinely is concerned about like where I am in the application process, like what my strengths are outside of my stats. But also too, this was I think around September and my grad school asked for due December. So I was like, I need to make sure that I just like someone is there to hold me accountable. So I was like, it's either I do this alone again like I did last year and then kind of get lost in it with a small amount of time that I have left, or get like an expert that can really make sure I'm guided throughout the whole process. And that's kind of like those are two things that help me kind of just jump into it and sign up for Art of Applying.
I love it. And what was your favorite part about working with us in Application Accelerator?
Multiple things, but I think the one that I love so much is having a consultant that could just like really read through my application or my essays and be like, oh, did you think about this? Or there's like, I feel like for me, sometimes I get so narrow or tunnel focus on what I'm writing that I forget to consider different things that I have in my back pocket that I haven't really shown in my essay as like a strength of mine. So my consultant really helped me think about things that I didn't consider as strengths to present it as strengths in my application.
I love hearing that. That's my answer to every single one of your I love it. All right. And what would you say to someone who thinks that they need to get a strong GRE score before working with us?
Well, as I like shared at the beginning of this call, I did not have a strong GRE score to begin with, and I did not submit the strongest GRE score. But I think something that I've come to realize in the grad school application process is that who you are and you being able to articulate that in the essay is so much more important, and being able to articulate like how you're able to contribute to the school and to the program is so much more important. And I think that's something that my consultant constantly reminded me. And what I feel like that was the message that I constantly receive here from Art of Applying is being able to kind of just like share what makes you special as an individual and finding the golden thread that kind of explains why this moment makes sense for you to apply for this specific program. So I think that really helped me go beyond my fears of not having a strong enough uh, GRE score.
Understood. And what did you learn about yourself, and how did you grow as a result of going through this application process with the Art of Applying?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that coming from a low income background, I'm not used to spending money on stuff like this. Like I grew up from a background where I just have to work hard, but I think now at this age I've come to realize like sometimes it's so important to invest in your future,
Mhm.
and spending this much time on a program like this can feel daunting at first especially for someone who didn't have that growing up. But it made me realize that sometimes like these are such important investments that the long-term return will be I can't even quantify for. And so
Oh,
now like what I paid for is literally times what have you for the scholarship that I'm receiving in total. And I know that like whatever school decide to go to will return that even more. So I think
mhm.
learning how to invest myself is how I grew it throughout this whole process.
Oh, beautiful. So now that you have been accepted into so many schools with such generous scholarships, what changes, improvements, or opportunities does this bring for your life and your career?
Yeah, that's such a great question. As I said, I studied public health and political science. I've always been really passionate about community building and social impact. The past 5 years have brought me to tech, and I love and I'm very thankful for that like experience. But I've always asked myself like, how can I make a better impact in the world? And I think now that I have that experience and I'm able to finally pursue my master's in public policy. I'm so excited to take my professional career into next level and hopefully combine it with something that I'm really passionate about and think about how I can really use my experience in tech and then use that for social impact and social good.
I love it.
And
Very timely.
yeah, exactly. Especially in this current day and age. So I'm really excited to make that to learn more and make an impact. And also I know like this degree will open so many doors for me moving forward.
Mm, beautiful. You may or may not remember this, Gershwin, but when you first join Application Accelerator, you fill out an intake form and we ask you who are the first four people you're going to tell, who were the first four people you told, and what happened when you told them.
Yeah, the first four people, my mom, my dad, my brother, and my best friend Izzy. I mean, my mom cried through like every decision that I shared with her. I think at the end of it, like my mom was just like so happy. And again, being the first one in my family, being the first one with my last name, Marion Celio, to be able to attend, to be able to get accepted to U Chicago, Duke, CMU, and USC is such a big accomplishment that at this point my mom is like, I'm not like, I am so happy whatever school you enter. I just feel like you're such a trailblazer in our family. So I'm really, yeah, definitely it was like an emotional journey because also my family, my friends know that this is something I've been wanting to pursue since like the past 6 years. So for it to finally happen is such a big accomplishment that I'm really excited for.
It's a very big accomplishment. I love that your mom cried after all the results. It's very fulfilling, you know.
Yeah.
I'm curious if your mom, dad, or cousins, or if people were like, "You spent how much? You're out of your mind." Did they know?
Yeah. No, I definitely consulted my mom, but that's the thing. I very thankful that I was already also in a place in my life where I could afford it,
Mhm.
and it was just a matter of like I don't, like I didn't know if it made sense because I'd never done that before.
Yeah.
And so my mom's like, I mean, if you it's your future, and now that you're like, I think the perspective is like now you create a future where you're able to afford stuff that we couldn't afford for you when you were younger.
Mhm.
So I think she was supportive of it as long as like I knew what I was doing.
Oh, beautiful. And so, Gershwin, I want you to give a message to yourself 1 year ago, 2 years ago. I know we both really like Reddit. You're on Reddit, it's 2 a.m. It's Friday night. You're supposed to be out. You're in bed. Your face is aglow while you are on r slash
For sure.
grad
I know that so
school.
well.
Yeah. So say some encouragement to that person who it's 2 a.m. and they're like, I'm so happy for that guy, but is that company real? Can they really help? It, is going to a top grad school, is getting a big scholarship for a top grad school, is that possible for me?
Yeah. Message to my younger self starting the application process really just like understanding that you have so much more to contribute, more than you know. And I think sometimes you need to make the right investment in order for you to craft that perfect application. Don't be scared because like again, like the prize might feel scary, but what I'll get back in return is so much bigger. And just really remembering that imposter syndrome is so real, especially as a first gen college student. And so just having the right people on your corner, like supporting you is so important. So if it means having your friends reminding you that like it's okay that you're not going out on the weekend because you're doing your application, or you're having art of applying consultant telling you that it's okay that you're doing your fifth revision of your essay, having the right people in your corner is so important to invest in because you do have it. I just think that the application process is a marathon and that it is doable with the right community.
Thank you so much. Those are all my questions. Any other things you want to say before we wrap up and you become our latest rockstar superstar client that we're adding to our huge library of successes? You are going to be the newest, freshest one. Anything else?
No, not on my end. I think, yeah, I just think it's so important for people watching this to understand like how important it is to invest in ourselves. Sometimes it doesn't always come as obvious as it needs to, but they're like long-term investment that we need in order for us to gain what we're looking for.
Beautiful. I'm so proud of you. I'm so thrilled for you. So after this interview, I look forward to us talking privately to figure out which of these amazing offers you're going to accept. Thank you so much for sharing your story. It's going to inspire so many people, encourage so many people. Gershwin, there are people watching this right now who are going to end up as your classmates and going to end up as at other top grad schools specifically because of your video. And so just thank you for sharing your story.
No, it's awesome. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for the other replying.
Thanks for watching. Are you ready to take your application process to the next level? The Art of Applying helps you get into the graduate school of your dreams and get money to pay for it. Book a free quick call from the link in the description to get started. And subscribe to our channel for more application tips and success stories.